What if there was an AI tool that could remember everything that you said, everything that you listened to, and can turn it into content without you doing a single thing? You see, while everybody is focusing on ChatGPT, this wearable AI might be the most powerful content creation tool that I ever used. You know what's wild is that we're officially in a world where AI is not just software. It is beyond that. We are able to wear it on our clothes. We're able to have it as different accessories. We're soon going to be able to have it everywhere in everything that we do. But this one in particular is working right now and creating me content that is going to last me about a week or even a month, depending on how much I talk today. And you know I'm about my proof. So this pendant helped me create this YouTube video, this IG video, and this thread. To be honest, this pendant has helped me create more content this month than I've done in the past 3 months. So in this video, I'm gonna show you 8 different ways of how I use this pendant to create unlimited amount of ideas and posts for social media. First, I gotta talk to you, what is Limitless AI? It's this pendant right here, right here. Now, if I go with what the website says, it says it's an intuitive way to capture unexpected strokes of genius. Translations, it records every single thing that you say, that you hear, all of that.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Honestly, I was tired of losing so many ideas that I was thinking about, that I was talking to with other people, that I really just needed a device that would hear everything, that would give me a report afterwards. Because I'm gonna be honest, I suck at writing notes. I'm getting better at it, but I suck at writing notes. I tend to forget to type certain things. I tend to forget to do audio notes. So if I can have a device that does that for me, I'm good. Now there's a bunch of videos that talk about all the tech and all of that. I'm not gonna get into it with this video. Really, I'm just gonna say I just needed this device so I could create content with it. And so this is what this video is about, of how I create content with an AI device that records everything. Now, I will say one of the best features is this life log that it creates. It takes everything that it hears and turns it into a whole, like, bullet points and bullet points of the bullet points. So you can, uncollapse any of these and you can see exactly what you said. You can listen to it. I'll actually have Isaiah show how it actually sounds when I was in like a super crowded room.
Choose one that you can truly make work, and the best way to find out.
Now, why is this all a big deal? Because as content creators, one of the biggest struggles that we have is creating consistent content. We seek for different inspirations and ideas, but some of us don't really log it. Some of us don't have an idea bank just stored in like notes or Notion and things like that. This can now be your idea bank. So let's talk about all the different content formats that you can create with the Limitless AI Pendant. So we're gonna break it down into different formats. We're gonna talk about video ideas. We're gonna talk about X and Threads ideas. We're gonna talk about newsletter ideas, and we're gonna talk about podcast ideas. And I got prompts inside of each of these categories. So let's get into it. So let's start with video, because video is king to most platforms. And so how can we identify engaging stories? This is what the prompt I wanna show you. So to gather the engaging stories that I said for that day, I put this prompt in. What are the most interesting or story-worthy things that has happened to me today? Summarize it in a few sentences. And that's exactly what it does. I had a very productive day, highlighted a 3-hour live stream where I connected with 100 viewers, discussed the YouTube journey, AI tools. And so now I'm looking at that like, okay, you know what? Talking about a 3-hour live, because not many people can do a 3-hour live. That may be an engaging story, how I was nervous about it, how I doubted myself and things like that. And so I can expand on that in a video, or I could talk about the different AI tools. I talk about the Firebase Studio, which is brand new vibe coding situation. So there's a lot of things I can get from just this particular prompt that will give me about 2 to 3 different video ideas. The second prompt has to do with finding your hook and outlining your video, because that's important. So this one's a little bit longer. You may want to take a screenshot of it. Okay, let's take a screenshot. All right, so here's the prompt. From today's conversation, find one tip or insight that I learned and draft a 4-part video. First part is the setup, introduce the problem or the insight, and make sure that the hook is catchy and leads to curiosity. Second part is the struggle, discuss why it's challenging or how you've seen people struggle with it. Third part is the solution, and the fourth part is the takeaways. And so this is exactly what it did. Picked up a topic, how to use ChatGPT for weekly recaps. It talks about each part and it breaks it down into a format of visuals, voiceover, and on-screen text, so you know exactly how to create the video. I know what needs to be shown, I know what I need to say, and I know what text I need to do to better increase my retention and people actually watching the video. This third one's pretty fun, which is finding the trends and the challenge ideas to turn into a video. So check this prompt out, right? Based on my day, is there a moment I can turn into a relatable trend or challenge video? And it picked up the AI-powered daily recap challenge. You've been using the Limitless Pendant, which I have, to record your day and using AI to summarize it and gain insight. You can turn this into a challenge where you encourage your audience to use an AI tool, identify areas for improvement, share their insights and commitment, and then use a specific tag. I think that's fire. I think that would get my audience to actually execute instead of just watching the content. This is really good to build like community-based content. So what do you think about it? So before we get into the next section, which talks about X and threads and written posts, which prompt did you like the most? The one about the engaging stories, the one about the hook and the outline for your videos, or the one where we're talking about the trends and the challenge ideas? So in this section, we're going to talk about posts that you can put on X, you can put on threads, pretty much any written content, like short form written content. So in prompt number 4, which is tweet worthy insights. So this is a simple prompt. Find a valuable insight from today that I can tweet about. And this one talks about memory is everything. Your past, the experience that shaped you, the realizations you've had, the relationships you had, the stories, the story of your life. That's who you are. Without your memory, you're someone else. I think that's deep. I probably heard that from somewhere. So once I figure out who originally said that, I can then pretty much copy, give them credit, and post that on Threads or X. Simple as that. This next one turns your conversation that you had, a specific one, into a thread. Let me show you. So I had a really dope conversation with Isaiah, this is Isaiah, about the YouTube strategy and the YouTube channel and what we should do next. And so this is the prompt that I put because I knew there was a lot of fire from it. So it says, summarize the key points from my discussion about my YouTube channel with Isaiah into a Twitter thread format. Yes, I still say Twitter, even though it's X, and I still use this format for threads too. So however you want to word it, you can word it. So look what it created. Just chatted with Isaiah about the YouTube grind. Key takeaway, balancing audience desires with your creative vision is the name of the game. The second one is Isaiah emphasized the importance of understanding my audience preferences, but also staying true to myself. It's a dance. And it came up with 8 different parts. Right now, I can post this whole thread if I wanted to, or I can divide it into like 2 to 3 different parts and do it for multiple days. Just put a little bit more context in it, right? But that's pretty solid. I just got to add my own words, add my own swag, and we're good. Number 6, this is turning our personal stories and our wins into a whole bunch of ideas. Now, you don't have to use all of them because what I'm going to show you is a whole list, and you're going to be like, Nikki, do I have to tell them my whole life? No. But look what it does. So this is a simple prompt, right? Where it says, turn my daily log into a tweet-sized journal entry for today. And you can tell it did just that, right? You considered how to use your Limitless AI Pendant with Zapier and Notion, right? You listened to a discussion about getting tasks completed via Notion's API. You worked on Boondock style visual quotes, right? Each of these has the potential to be a really good tweet or thread. And so now I have options. I don't have to use all of them. I can put this in now my idea bank, right? Whether that's in your Notion app or whether that's in like your Notes app. But this is giving me endless, this is well over a month. Some of it probably will repeat itself and things like that. But this is, if it's not a month, it's a week, okay? It's a week's worth of content in just a day. So imagine if you did this every single day. That's crazy. So since this is for X and threads, you always want to keep your content like short, but super valuable. So a framework that you could possibly use is the problem, insights, and takeaway. So once they give you an idea, if you was to tell it, okay, can you format that in a problem, insight, and takeaway? That makes your content super valuable, super shareable, which will create engagement. All right, so before we get into the newsletter section, which one did you like the most? Put it in the comments. Did you like the tweet-worthy insight one? Did you like the turning your conversations into threads? Or did you like the unlimited ideas when it comes to your personal stories and your wins? All right, now we're up to the newsletter section, which is one of my favorite sections because I write a newsletter, Content Corner, slight plug. That link is in the description. Go check that out, right? But here are 2 prompts that are going to game change how you write your newsletters. So with this first one, this is talking about your weekly newsletter recap. This is going to help you figure out what in the world are you going to be talking about on your newsletter. So I put, using my conversations from this past week, what are 2 to 3 themes or interesting stories I can share in my newsletter? And it came up with just that. The power of AI and content creation. It talks about some AI tools like the Firebase tool, Poppy AI, Blotato, Taja AI. Those are all the things that I've talked about this week. It also talks about the importance of community and connection. Shout out to the Lions Behavior and Deeper Than the Brand communities, right? And then balance of hustle and rest. And if I don't like any of those, I can just tell it to give me 3 more, right? It's just like talking to any other AI model. Super fire. This is a game changer when we're talking about newsletters. This next part for your newsletter is going to find the quotes and the snippets that can be fillers for your newsletters. Let me show you. Now, quotes are really dope to put into your newsletter because it adds personality, and who doesn't love a good quote, right? So I said, give me a few memorable quotes or witty remarks that I said this past week that I can include in my past writing. And so it does that. And so something that I said is, I think one of the best questions you can ask ChatGPT is, what are you not seeing in yourself? The things that it says is really, really deep, which is really true. You should try it, okay? Just letting you know. And then another thing that I said is, your old content still has life. You just have to repurpose it, which is another truth. Now, I can put this in my newsletter. I can add on to it if I wanted to make a whole separate segment for it, or I could just add it as kind of just like, yo, people love quotes. Let me put that in there. Low key, I just told you how to write your whole newsletter, to be honest with you. So let's get right into the podcast one, because I think you're going to like that too. Whether you have a podcast already or whether you're thinking about having a podcast, this is really a game changer. So I put the prompt, create a podcast outline on today's discussion, include at least 3 talking points with examples that I mentioned. And it says the title, level up your content, AI, authenticity, and audience connections. It gave me an intro. It gave me a talking point. Point 1, AI powered content. And it gave me kind of an outline. Point 2, stay authentic in a noisy world. Gave me an outline. Point 3, connecting your audience with the 3 examples. And then the outro. What? Are you serious? I used to do a podcast and I was struggling creating weekly content for my podcast. If I had this when I was doing a podcast, it'd be game over. I would be great. This is insane. All right, let me show you the next one. Now, if you do a lot of storytelling in your podcast, which you should, because storytelling allows you to stand out, this next prompt is going to help you. So I said, what personal stories did I tell or recall this week? List them with a title, right? And so now I have different types. The tattoo story, a trouble with a client, frustration with thumbnail guy, podcast channel, YouTube success, camera, mom loves the podcast, Lego channel, growing up in New York. This is giving me different titles based off some of the stories that I have, right? That I can go, oh, now granted, I have to get better titles. But this is all a starter. It will allow me to look at what had happened throughout the week and be like, okay, this would be a good podcast episode. This would be a good podcast part. Or if you tell certain stories in different segments, okay, this would be a really good segment. This would be a really good segment. This is great. So this is giving you, once again, unlimited ideas, because this is just 1 week. So if I did this the other week and the other week and This is just giving unlimited ideas. What I just showed you was content from my week that I didn't necessarily try, except for putting in a few prompts. Because of this pendant, I've increased my content production. I've been intentional with saying my ideas out loud, and now I'm able to have a searchable archive of my best ideas. This is why I'm telling you this, because it is creating a system that I didn't even know I needed. And the most valuable benefit of all this, it freed my brain up from being just a storage and allowed me to do what I do best, which is generate ideas. Now, I already know what you're thinking. Nikki, that's creepy. It's recording everything. What about privacy concerns? Like, is it really worth it? I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not saying top secret stuff. Like, the meetings that I'm having is not top secret stuff, right? Now, if that is you, this tool isn't for you, right? But if you have just a regular life, regular meetings, you were already recording your meetings anyways. You were listening to the podcast. This is like, I truly don't have the capacity to remember every single thing from every second to every minute. And I truly believe that everything is content. And if I can't use it for content, was it a good idea for my personal life? Was it a good idea for my business? Was it a good idea for my relationship? There's a lot of things that I am using it for, not just content, but I've found the best benefits from the content side of things. Remember what I said in the beginning, we're officially in the world of where AI is now wearable. This is changing everything with how we create, how we take in information, and how we process. So the people who adapt to these wearable AIs are going to be able to produce more content than those who don't. But let me ask you an honest question. How do you feel about this Limitless AI Pendant? Are you with it? Or are you just like, nah, Nikki, this one ain't for me? Drop that in the comments. And then, of course, check out my next video.